You've heard of Bali. Maybe you've been there. White sand, turquoise water, temple gates draped in gold cloth. 5 million tourists a year. One of the most photographed places on Earth. 1 hour and 15 minutes east of Bali by plane, there is a small island where something walks that has existed for 4 million years without changing. Something that can smell blood from 4 kilometers away, 2.5 miles. Something that will follow a dying animal for 2 full weeks without once stopping. Something that does not need to be fast, does not need to be loud, does not need to be anything except inevitable. And here's the thing that will stay with you long after this video ends. For 40 years, every textbook, every documentary, every scientist in the world thought they understood how this animal kills. They were completely wrong. This is the Komodo dragon. Let's start with what happened. The one that was repeated so many times it became fact. The Komodo dragon kills with bacteria. The mouth is a biological nightmare, rotting meat packed between the teeth, dozens of lethal bacterial strains living in warm, festering darkness. The bite itself might be minor, doesn't matter. Days later, the wound becomes septic. The prey weakens, collapses, dies. The dragon finds the body by smell and eats, clean, logical, terrifying, in a slow-motion biological way. It also wasn't true. The theory came from one man. One field study, 1981. A researcher named Walter Offenberg spent 13 months on Komodo Island watching the animals hunt. He observed that prey died from infected wounds. He assumed the bacteria in the mouth were the cause. He wrote it down. And his conclusion, without any experimental verification, entered the literature. It went into textbooks. It went into documentaries. Respected naturalists. For 4 decades, every child who ever learned about the Komodo dragon learned the same thing. Here's the part that should bother you. Nobody tested it. For 40 years, nobody checked whether the bacterial environment in a Komodo dragon's mouth was actually unusual, actually lethal in the time frame required, actually capable of killing large prey before the prey simply died of blood loss from a massive bite wound anyway. The assumption was made. The assumption was repeated. The assumption became science. In 2009, a researcher named Brian Fry decided to look more carefully. He scanned Komodo dragon skulls using MRI imaging. He dissected glands from 2 captive specimens under laboratory conditions. He published his findings in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. There are venom glands in the lower jaw, 2 of them. The venom contains anticoagulants, compounds that disrupt blood clotting, compounds that induce muscle paralysis and the onset of hemorrhagic shock. This is not a weapon of force. This is a precision biochemical delivery system, engineered over 4 million years to work slowly and work completely. This is not infection. This is engineering. The bacteria were incidental, present. The way bacteria are present in every warm, wet environment on Earth, but not a weapon, not special. Not the thing that was killing prey for 4 million years. The animal had venom the entire time. Nobody looked. 40 years of wrong, and the dragon never corrected anyone. It just went about its business, watching generations of PhD students confidently explain its dirty mouth while it was literally sitting there with high-tech venom glands thinking, "Sure, Dave, whatever helps you sleep at night." Now, let's talk about what this animal actually is. The Komodo dragon is the largest living lizard on Earth. The largest verified specimen on record measured 10.3 feet, over 3 meters, and weighed 366 pounds. But size is just context. The body is built for something specific. The head is long, flat, wedge-shaped, and the jaw is engineered differently from almost any other predator alive. Multiple movable joints, including a hinge inside the lower jaw itself, allow the mouth to open to an angle that looks structurally impossible. The throat is elastic. The stomach expands. The system was built for throughput. Presentation was never part of the design. A Komodo dragon can consume prey equal to 80% of its own body weight in a single meal, bones, hooves, hide, everything, and leave behind approximately 12% of the carcass. One documented female, 42 kilograms, 92 pounds, ate a 66-pound wild boar in 17 minutes. 17 minutes. That's not a meal. That's an athletic achievement. Most of us take longer to decide what to order on delivery than it takes this lizard to delete a medium-sized mammal from existence. Then, there are the teeth. In July 2024, researchers at King's College London Imperial College and the Natural History Museum published a paper in Nature, Ecology, and Evolution. They had found something that had been hiding in plain sight for decades: the serrated edges of the Komodo dragon's teeth. The cutting tips, the blade portions, are coated in iron. Ferric iron, concentrated precisely where a cutting edge needs to stay sharp. That orange staining you see in photographs? That's not food residue or a lack of dental hygiene. That's iron. The Komodo dragon doesn't have a smile. It has a set of organic, self-sharpening steak knives. It's basically the only animal in the world that can claim its teeth are heavy metal, and mean it literally. The bite force of the Komodo dragon is relatively modest, roughly 1/6 the bite force of a saltwater crocodile of comparable size. By raw pressure alone, the teeth are self-maintaining blades. The researchers noted one more thing. Carnivorous dinosaurs, Tyrannosaurus rex, may have had the same adaptation. A living lizard on a small Indonesian island might be our best window into how the largest land predators in history actually fed. 4 million years of iron teeth. We found out in 2024. Nothing personal, just iron. Now, let's talk about what the Komodo dragon does, because this is where it becomes something genuinely different. It does not chase. Not in the pursuit predator sense. Not in the explosive sprint and kill sense. The Komodo dragon's weapon is not speed and not power. Its weapon is time. Picture this. In the same trail, cutting through dry savanna on Komodo Island, 43 degrees Celsius, 109 Fahrenheit. The ground is cracked earth and dead grass. In the grass beside the trail, something is lying absolutely still. It has been there for 18 hours. No movement. It's gray-brown skin against gray-brown earth. If you walked past at 5 meters, you might not see it. A Javan rusideer steps onto the trail. The dragon moves. The attack is fast, explosive, low, covering ground in a burst that takes less than 2 seconds. Teeth into the leg, into the flank. The serrated iron blades tearing, not just puncturing, dragging through tissue to maximize the wound channel, to maximize venom entry. The longer the bite holds, the more venom flows through the channels between the teeth into the wound. The deer escapes. It pulls free and runs. The dragon watches it go. And then, the dragon starts walking. Not running. Walking. The dragon does not hunt. It collects. Tongue flicking. Constantly. Rhythmically. 2 tips. Collecting scent molecules from 2 directions simultaneously. Pressing them against the Jacobson's orb, a directional map written in chemistry. The deer is bleeding. The blood leaves a trail that does not fade. The venom has begun its work on the circulatory system. The Komodo dragon can track a wounded animal for up to 9.5 kilometers, nearly 6 miles, over 2 weeks. This is not a chase. This is case management. Whatever direction the deer travels, whatever terrain it crosses, the chemical signature of blood and distress follows the dragon like a thread. And the dragon follows the thread. The deer's blood pressure is falling, slowly, then less slowly. The coagulation system has been compromised. The wound bleeds and does not seal. Other wounds bleed that shouldn't bleed. Energy drops. Legs weaken at some point. A day, 2 days, a week. The deer cannot stand. The dragon is already there, right on schedule. Just the biological fact that the outcome was determined at the moment of the first bite. And the dragon has simply been following the evidence. You were bitten. You belong to the dragon now. You just don't know it yet. Now let's go inside the venom, because this is where the Komodo dragon stops being impressive and starts being something else. Imagine you are the deer. The bite happened 3 hours ago. You ran. You're still running. Slower now. The wound on your leg has not stopped bleeding. This is unusual. You have had wounds before. Thorns, rocks, the antlers of other deer, and they stopped bleeding. This one continues. Inside your bloodstream, the anticoagulant compounds from the dragon's venom are systematically disrupting the clotting cascade, the sequence of reactions your body uses to form a seal over an ointment. The blood pressure is dropping, not from blood loss alone, but from compounds specifically designed to drop it, to take blood away from the muscles and the brain that need it for flight. The muscle paralysis compounds are beginning to reach your extremities. You are cold. It is 40 degrees Celsius outside. You are cold. You stop at a water hole. You drink. You can't leave. You lie down in the shade. You do not get up again. and from somewhere in the dry grass, a tongue flickers twice in the afternoon air. The biology of the venom is this: it doesn't need to kill quickly. Speed would actually be less efficient. A prey animal that dies immediately is only one meal. A prey animal that is physiologically certain to collapse, but that runs for a day, 2 days a week, takes the dragon away from other territories, away from other dragons competing for the same kill. The patient dragon finds the deer alone. Evolution optimized, not for males. Optional. In 2006, a female named Flora decided she didn't need a partner to start a family. She just triggered the backup plan. No co-founder required. Flora had already activated the fail-safe protocol. In 2006, at Chester Zoo in England, Flora reproduced without any male contact. She had been kept apart from males for years. She produced 8 eggs. DNA testing confirmed no male contribution, published in Nature. The mechanism is called parthenogenesis. A polar body, a cellular fragment normally discarded during egg formation, is reabsorbed by the egg. It provides a second copy of genetic material. The offspring are not clones. They contain half their mother's genetic variation, but all of them are male. Because of how sex chromosomes work in Komodo dragons, only male combinations survive this time. Komodo dragons live on 5 small, isolated volcanic islands in eastern Indonesia. Islands that a female might reach without a male. Islands where no population exists yet. A lone female arrives. No males. She produces sons via parthenogenesis. Those sons mature. They breed with her. From one animal, a population begins. This is not a curiosity. This is potentially how the species populated multiple, isolated islands over millions of years. The mechanism was already there. Evolution built the solution before anyone identified the problem. The planet kept quiet about this until 2006. The dragon had been doing it the whole time. Now, the part that reframes everything about what it means to be a young Komodo dragon. Adult Komodo dragons eat juvenile Komodo dragons. Approximately 10% of an adult's diet, in some estimates, consists of smaller members of the same species. Cannibalism is not exceptional behavior. So, how does a juvenile survive? When young dragons come down from the trees, they spend their first years living almost entirely in trees. Beyond the reach of adults, they face an immediate problem. They need to feed. The adults are at the kill. The adults will eat them. So, the juveniles roll in feces. They cover themselves in excrement, deliberately, thoroughly, and then they crawl inside the eviscerated carcass of the prey animal, and they eat from the inside out. The adults are hunting by smell. The juveniles smell like waste. The disguise functions because it must function, because the alternative is death. This is not a rare behavior. This is the standard survival protocol for young Komodo dragons. Sit with that for a moment. The most effective survival strategy available to a juvenile of one of the most powerful reptiles alive is to smell so terrible that the adults pass them by. Best camouflage. While human teenagers try to fit in by wearing the right sneakers, young Komodo dragons try to fit in by smelling so aggressively repulsive that even their own parents won't look at them. It's effective. It definitely ruins the family reunion. Now, the part you've been waiting for. You are on a boat. 40 kilometers, 25 miles, of open water between Flores and Komodo Island. A speedboat. The water is turquoise. The sky is pale blue. And there are volcanic hills in the distance. You're here for the morning tour. Ranger waiting at the dock, wooden walking stick in hand. The trail into the interior of Komodo Island is well worn, and it moves through dry savanna, cracked earth, sparse trees, long brown grass. It is 37 degrees Celsius, 99 Fahrenheit, and it is 8 in the morning. The Komodo dragon's olfactory system is built around a forked tongue that collects airborne molecules and presses them against a specialized sensory organ in the roof of the mouth, the Jacobson's organ, which translates chemical data into directional information. The animal flicks its tongue constantly while moving. It is always reading the air. It can detect the presence of large mammals from up to 4 kilometers away, 2.5 miles. You left the boat 15 minutes ago. You have been on the island for 15 minutes. The dragon in the grass, 40 meters to the left of the trail, has known you were coming for the last 20 minutes. It has already calculated your direction, your pace, your approximate mass, whether you were alone or in a group. It processed this information before you stepped off the boat. The intake assessment was complete before you reached the dock. You were walking across a map. Official records from Komodo National Park document 24 attacks on humans in a 38-year period. 5 were fatal, against a park that receives 15,000 visitors annually. Those numbers are low, but the pattern in those attacks is consistent. A tourist who crouched down to photograph, who moved away from the group, who entered a low posture that reads as prey behavior, to an animal that processes posture, not intention. The dragon does not understand that you are a tourist. It does not understand cameras. It understands movement, mass, and position. You stop to take a photograph. You crouch. You are now low, alone, and still. You are precisely the profile of a vulnerable prey animal in a moment of reduced alertness. The dragon doesn't care about your Instagram engagement. To the dragon, a tourist crouching for the perfect angle looks exactly like a deer with a leg cramp. Here is what you cannot do when a Komodo dragon begins a serious approach at 10 meters. You cannot raise a stick in the half-second between decision and contact. You cannot process the threat, override the freeze response, and execute a movement in 1.5 seconds. You cannot outrun 20 kilometers per hour, 12 miles per hour in heavy footwear on uneven terrain. You cannot think through the situation in real time because your nervous system was not built for a threat that moves from stillness to full speed in less time than a human breath. And here is the other thing. There is no hospital on Komodo Island. There is no surgeon, no ambulance, no blood bank. The nearest medical facility is in Labuan Bajo, a boat across open water, then a car, then a clinic that is not a trauma center. What a surgeon could repair in 30 minutes can kill you in the field in under 2 hours. Because the venom has ingested the wound that looks survivable is not without immediate professional intervention. And immediate professional intervention does not exist on this island. This is not meant to alarm you into never visiting. It is the reality that the wooden walking stick and the ranger's experience are managing on your behalf. The system works. Follow the ranger. Don't crouch for photographs. Don't separate from the group. If a dragon approaches with its tongue flicking rapidly, it is reading your air. Move back, slowly, facing the animal without turning your back. The dragon that seemed motionless in the grass. It wasn't motionless. It was waiting to see what you'd do next. It made its assessment first. You were the last one to know this encounter was happening. Now, let's talk about what this animal faces because this story has a chapter that most people don't know. The Komodo dragon is listed as endangered on the island. Endangered. The category that means the probability of extinction in the wild is real and rising. Fewer than 1,400 breeding adults remain. The total population across all 5 islands, Komodo, Rinca, Flores, Guillemotong, Nusa Code, is estimated at between 3,000 and 6,000 individuals. They are fragmented. They cannot move between populations. Each island is a contained world. In September 2021, the IUCN upgraded the species from vulnerable to endangered. The primary reason was not poaching, not habitat destruction in the traditional sense. The primary reason was climate change. The Komodo dragon lives on low-lying volcanic islands in the Flores Sea. The savanna habitat these animals depend on, sites at sea level. The IUCN projects that rising seas could eliminate up to 71% of the Komodo dragon's remaining suitable habitat within 50 years. Not over centuries. 50 years. This animal survived. It outlasted the woolly mammoth. It survived the ice ages, the formation of Indonesia as an archipelago, the arrival of modern humans, the collapse of every civilization that rose and fell in the region around it. It is facing the possibility of being gone within a century, not because it failed to adapt, not because something stronger came along, not because the logic of evolution moved past it, because the sea is rising at a rate that 4 million years of biology could not prepare for. The species originated in Australia. The oldest Komodo dragon fossils are from Queensland, 3.8 million years ago. The species dispersed west to Indonesia over the next 2 million years, arriving on Flores approximately 1.5 million years ago. In Australia, they coexisted with Megalania, the largest land lizard ever. Estimated at 18 to 23 feet and close to 2,000 pounds, Megalania is gone. The Komodo dragon survived. It built venom. It built iron teeth. It built the patience to follow prey for 2 weeks. It built the ability to reproduce from a single female. It built everything it needed to survive. And right now, The water is rising. The Komodo dragon does not understand any of this. It does not understand the venom in its jaws, or the iron in its teeth, or the parthenogenesis in its biology, or the IUCN Red List, or the sea level projections for the floor's sea by 2075. It understands the trail, the tongue flick, the 18-hour wait, the 2-week walk across a map that only it can read. That walk, patient, unhurried, 4 million years old, through savanna that may not exist in 50 years, is one of the most extraordinary things still happening on this planet. Respect the wild, and may the only Komodo dragon you ever face be on a screen. The wild truth.